The following program is an opinion program. The opinions expressed by the hosts and guests of this program are not the opinions of the management, staff, and advertisers of this station. Please direct all criticism, concern, and adulation to the hosts of this program.
Welcome to Alabama Politics This Week. I am Dale Jackson. I'm a radio talk show host. You can hear my show Monday through Friday from 5 to 9 a.m. on WVNN in Huntsville. And back from some world gallivanting vacation. I don't even know where she actually was. I think she went to Epstein Island.
No, I did not.
Mecca Music, 256today.com CEO. Smart news for smart people, smart enough to get her name off the logs.
Did you miss me?
I didn't know you were gone until you told me. But yes, I did actually. But Mecca is back, and so are we. This week, we've got Andrew Jones. He'll be with us, and we're going to talk with him about a lot of things going on in the Alabama legislature, maybe the offseason, but that doesn't mean it's over. So stay tuned for that. And at the end, I'll tell you why immigration rates are actually good, which shouldn't be that hard to figure out. But we'll talk about that as well. Right now, though, let's go ahead and get to the 2-minute warning. Okay, so Mecca was there, so let's talk about Jeffrey Epstein.
Stop saying that. That's not even funny.
It's actually very funny. Jeffrey Epstein is basically screwing everybody. That's as simple as I can put it. It is exactly what's happening. And Donald Trump, well, he's just screwing himself. It is amazing to me the way that this has been handled by the President of the United States, who has a record of being the smartest guy when it comes to dealing with scandals through repetition, through funny quips, through all sorts of stuff. And now he's just like, Epstein who? It's like that guy you talked about repeatedly on the campaign trail, the guy who said you were going to release the documents. Yeah, I don't know anything about it. Well, here's a clip of you saying it. I don't know who that guy is either. It's like, this is you. You're saying these things. So a lot of people in his orbit, a lot of his supporters are all saying, well, we'll just move on from this. That is not going to happen. It's simply not going to happen. Mecca, this issue is so stupid that it blows my mind that we are even still having this conversation. Release the stuff. What are we talking about? Put something out, a report, a special investigator, something.
So why isn't it happening?
I have no idea. I assume it's because he's on the list. I mean, there's just...
That's what I would think people would draw the conclusion of.
I'm assuming there is a list of names that are in all these things, and he is probably on that because he flew on the plane. But, you know, I'll tell you this. I know people in jail for lots of drug use. I'm telling you, we got school board members who are accused of being drug dealers in Huntsville. It doesn't mean that everyone that is associated with them is a drug dealer or something else. It just means you know them. And I think it's insane the way he's handling it because it makes it look like he's guilty. And he's just digging a hole, attacking his own supporters.
Well, let's
you
talk
must be
about
dumb
that.
for falling for this.
But
Like,
exactly.
yeah.
But let's talk about that. A lot of Trump loyalists have very much come across the sides like what, basically like you, like what's going on?
Yeah.
Why is this happening? Even what about your bestie Bongino?
Yeah.
I mean, what's going to happen with that?
Imagine if Dan Bongino was on the radio right now. He'd be going crazy. And now we're supposed to believe that it's like, Epstein who? Look, if everything they're saying is true, then they need to put out a report that backs some of it up. Mm-hmm. I think what's most likely here is that Epstein, people are like, oh, Maxwell's in jail for nothing. No, she's in jail for what she did with Jeffrey Epstein.
Right.
That doesn't mean that there was a cabal of pedophiles running the world. And I don't think that's true. I think he himself was a terrible person, and I think he surrounded himself with some terrible people. That doesn't mean that everyone he knew was a terrible person. But because it's been talked about by both sides, congratulations. If you're on the list, you're totally screwed. And Donald Trump's on that list. And this is just like the Mueller thing with him. It is exactly like the Mueller thing. Jeff Sessions, I believe, told Donald Trump, you didn't do anything wrong. Stop worrying about it. Stop doing it. Stop fighting with this. And Trump couldn't help himself. Same thing with this. It just looks guilty. Halfway through the Mueller thing, I was like, did he do something? I mean, because of the way he was acting.
Because of the reactions.
Yeah, if you're not guilty, why are you acting this way? All right. Let's move on. Let's talk about this sales tax fight. This is the best story of the week here in the great state of Alabama. You are seeing two cities that probably spend a lot online, and they are upset that the online sales tax is being collected and doled out to all the others. And they don't want to deal with that kind of stuff. Instead, they want that money for themselves, so they're suing. I'm not a lawyer, okay? I just look good, and people think I'm a lawyer.
Nobody thinks that.
So they just think I'm a lawyer, and they're like, I want that guy to represent me in court. but I can't. But the simple fact is, I don't think they have a case. Because the Alabama legislature, I think, can get together and say, we're going to raise taxes on, I don't know, coffee roasters. And we're going to raise taxes on coffee roasters, and we're going to take 100% of that tax, and we are going to we're going to give it to one area code in Russellville, Alabama. And they could do that. The Alabama legislature decides, and they get to decide where the money goes. And now Tuscaloosa's like, but we want more of that. Well, then talk to your legislators. Now, that's my simpleton's explanation of this. But the cities have sued, and we'll see where it goes. What do you think's happening here?
Okay, so that is a portion of this issue, but this issue is huge and very, very complex, Dale, actually.
I agree.
So the other issue with this is an internet sales tax, correct? Okay, well, sales taxes typically go to schools, right?
Yep.
Well, the way this is set up is that the municipalities, the counties, they can decide if they want to give this to the schools.
That's what the legislation says. That's what the legislators decided.
Okay. However, that leaves a lot of school systems out in the cold. Like, there's a lot that could be reformed within this issue.
Yeah,
and
by the legislature.
But if it takes a lawsuit to reform this,
that's how it's supposed to work. The legislature is supposed to be the ones that sets tax policy. They don't get a judge.
There is a bill that's actually wants to raise it, but it still doesn't address the distribution issues. So like Madison City gives all of their portion. They do give it to the schools. The county, Madison County, 0%. Okay. And here's another issue with that. A lot of the counties have bonded this money. It's considered new money, right? Yeah. Even though it is a sales tax.
Right, but that's how the law was written. They're all doing exactly what they're supposed to do. What's weird is Tuscaloosa and Mountain Brook are like, well, we want to do this differently.
So you don't think there's any unequalness?
Incorrect. That's not what I said. I don't care. I mean, that's the whole thing. That doesn't matter.
Inequality.
Take it up with your legislators. You don't take it up with a judge and say that a judge is going to come in here and rewrite the law.
Okay, listen though. We're talking about it because of these lawsuits.
You're asking, is it unfair? Is that what you're asking?
I'm asking if you believe that the system could be improved, if there's some unfairness involved in it.
Sure, the system can be improved, but should it be being improved through the courts or should it be improved through the legislative process?
That's my point, though. Would we be talking or even know about this issue otherwise?
Some Walt Maddox 3D chess or something here. Okay, all right, that's fine.
You can't not like it just because it's Walt Maddox.
No, I like Walt Maddox a lot. I have no problem. Okay. I have no problem with him. The only issue I have is that this whole thing is kind of dumb, personally, because you take it up with the legislature, let them fix it. That's as simple as. Okay, I think
we can talk to our next guest about this.
We'll talk to our next guest. All right, let's move on. And in this particular case, he didn't give us a chance. He said, you're moving on. Okay, fine. Let's talk about it. The rescission plan has passed the Senate. It hasn't quite passed the House yet as of the recording of this. NPR, PBS, USAID, all defunded. And I think it's because of Elmo. Elmo went on like some crazy anti-Semitic rants this weekend, and they're like, we got to cut this off. And I think that's exactly what happened here. Because we were told. That's terrible. They told us USAID, they're helping all these people read in other countries using Elmo and other things like this. It's all connected here. And you know, Elmo said to kill all the Jews. Okay. So it might be time for us to hold him accountable for this. This is great. This is a great piece of legislation. They sent money out, and then they clawed it back and said, let's not spend it. I think this is a huge positive. I like the clawback. I wish they'd do it to more stuff. PBS and NPR, it's interesting. USAID, no one's talking about saving that anymore because they found a ton of corruption there.
Right.
At PBS and NPR, what's most hilarious about this is to watch the locals. The local entities be like, but we'll go out of business. Who's going to notify people about the storms? And it's like every other media outlet out there. They're mad because they have a left-wing agenda, and that's been used to call them out and defund them. And they're like, is this viewpoint discrimination? You shouldn't have a viewpoint. You're NPR and PBS. That's the problem. Sorry, Becca, I'm going crazy. Should they have done something different?
I would just like to escape this whole topic, starting with the Elmo non-quotes. I really shouldn't even be sitting here.
Those actually were quotes.
I really should not even be sitting here at this point. I would like to point out it does only cut 0.1% from the federal budget. It is a good headline. It's fun to talk about. You obviously enjoy it.
I reject the premise of it only cuts X amount from the budget.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why I reject that premise. Because
it's not factual?
No, it's absolutely factual, but it downplays it and says this only does this
much.
No,
I would still say, I mean, that's what, if you're in favor of cutting.
You're correct, and they should cut more is what your point is. If you believe in cuts, they should do more, not just this miniature little things. And my response is, I agree with you, but this is still fine. And I think that's.
I think you like it just so you can do the Elmo stuff.
Well, I mean, if you don't want people to call you an anti-Semite, don't say kill all the Jews on Twitter. I mean, that's it. Yeah, by the way, just in full disclosure, that was a crypto scam and it was hacked. So that keep in mind that that's what actually happened.
I would thank you for adding that because I was very uncomfortable during this whole segment.
Elmo's not an anti-Semite. Let's move on and talk a little bit about China buying land inside the great state of Alabama. You've seen those maps that show you where China owns land, and they tell you it's like near all these military bases and all this other stuff. And the concern, of course, is that we are already getting all of our medicine and all this other stuff from China. We saw this during the COVID-19 situation. The supply chain completely bungled and messed up, and it became a big issue. The concern with this is that you have farmland and other land being purchased, not only near military installations, but what it's being used for, and that is farmland. What if we have a bit of an issue? Will the Chinese be controlling our food supply inside the United States? I think that'd be pretty hard for them to do. Personally, to control that if there was a situation where we're fighting with China. But why would we want to complicate things even further? Will they be able to do this? Some states have, Mecca. And I think it's a pretty popular issue. The red Chinese are buying up all our property. We got to stop them. And I think that's a perfectly reasonable thing to do. But one of the stories, I'm sorry. Go
ahead. Go ahead.
One of the stories, but the UK and Canada actually have more land in the United States than China does. I'm like, yeah, but they're not our adversary. Okay, there's a little bit of a difference between the UK and Canada owning that. Sorry, go ahead.
I would say, okay, so U.S. Congressman Del Strong reintroduced the Protecting Alabama's Agricultural Land from Foreign Harm Act. Earlier this year, Tuberville has introduced a companion bill in the Senate. Britt also supports this effort. There have been similar efforts in the Alabama legislature. We're going to talk to State Senator Andrew Jones about that in just a minute. I think this is important. I think it's a popular issue. I think, obviously, if you're an American voter, this would resonate with you.
Yeah, you would be concerned about this.
Absolutely.
And again, all you have to do is go back to COVID, and we're going to be able to go back to COVID for the rest of our life and point out what happened in that moment and how things changed in a lot of different ways. And this is one of those things. Globalism has had a lot of very positive things, but saying it's gone too far is pretty easy to say. And this is one of those situations where you're letting someone who you are adversarial with, not necessarily enemies, but you're adversarial with, allowing them to own property next to military bases, and that promotes and creates food, may not be the best idea. So there we go. Mecca Music, thank you very much. Andrew Jones will be with us here in just a little bit. No more Elmo talk, I can almost promise you that. Stay tuned. You're watching and listening to Alabama Politics This Week.
Fox 54 Plus is your streaming home for news from the world of sports. Join the Fox 54 sports team for local highlights and insights. Stream Fox 54 Sports Sector anytime on Fox 54 Plus, live, local, and always on.
Opioids, they were prescribed by a doctor, it's no big deal.
The pills we felt were probably the least harmful because something that came from a doctor, it can't be that bad.
This feels so good and I want to feel this way every day.
3 and 4 pills would turn into 9 and 10 pills.
Old values and morals were completely cast away.
Addiction is lying to you.
There is a way out.
You just have to reach out for help.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for University Kia. This is my son Grant. He's a busy guy. Chess, piano, basketball, wrestling, baseball, you name it. There's probably some stuff that I missed that my wife will be mad about, but here's the thing. It's important to have reliable transportation. My friends at University Kia, they take great care of me. I've been driving Sportages my entire life. My wife drives a Telluride now, and it is the perfect vehicle for the busy family. Folks, University Kia, let them take care of you like they've taken care of my family. That's University Kia. Learn more at universitykia.com.
Tom Grant and Dale Jackson sent you.
Scout Pest Control is your one-stop shop for pest control. We do it all, from rodents to mosquitoes, termites to bed bugs. We offer a 100% satisfaction guarantee on all our services. When you think pest control, think Scout. ScoutPestControl.com.
You work hard to earn little escapes because doing your best means being your best. So let us help you discover your best at Premier Dental Spa. With our unique blend of cosmetic, dental, and spa-like aesthetic services, you'll leave feeling relaxed, refreshed, and renewed. Make sure the best you is here to stay and book your appointment online today at premierdentalspa.com.
At Elite Door Service, we're your local experts for all things garage doors, residential and commercial. Our licensed and insured team is led by a certified master technician. When it comes to garage doors, don't settle for average. Choose Elite Door Service.
Think you need a new roof? Think again and save thousands.
We'll help you put off the high cost of a roof replacement for at least 5 years.
Or 10.
Or sometimes even 15.
We're America's most trusted roofer because we always try to save your roof rather than replace it.
We'll restore your roof for a fraction of the cost of a new one.
But don't wait. If your roof loses too much protective coating, it's too late.
Call now or scan the code and we'll give you an assessment of your roof for free.
What if you could make a free phone call and reduce your car payment by as much as $83 a month? Right now, you could be paying as high as 20% interest. Your new interest rate could be reduced to as low as 2.48%. You can refinance any existing car loan or leased car and save money every month. Make this free phone call and learn how to save hundreds of dollars a year by refinancing your existing car loan.
Welcome back to Alabama Politics This Week. I'm Dale Jackson. With me again, Mecca Music.
Surprisingly, I did stick around.
I know.
For our next guest, though, we've got State Senator Andrew Jones, who represents District 10 in the Alabama Senate. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Now, I want to talk about some of the things that you have accomplished in the Senate, in the state legislature this past session, and what you've got coming ahead.
Sure.
But talk to me a little bit about what you're most proud of on this last session.
Well, I'm proud that we continue to give back resources to the citizens of Alabama. The grocery tax, Dale will remember, we talked about that, I guess, 5 years ago on his show, and it's just taken that long to really get up steam. It used to be a Democrat issue back in the 70s and 80s, and gradually Republicans have come on board, and so now we're implementing the 2nd cent off the state sales tax, which those 2 cents end up being the largest tax cut in Alabama history. So very proud of the work we've done on that.
Let's talk about taxes here for a second. We mentioned it in the conversation we were having here about the sales tax fight. I think Tuscaloosa and Mountain Brook are out of line. I think you guys might be wrong in how you set it up. But
okay, the information I was given, though, and repeated, is that valid from your understanding?
Well, the way I see things are, rural communities have got to have a lifeline. And, those folks may be going and shopping in Tuscaloosa. And I understand Mountain Brook's now joined the lawsuit. But, they're also buying gas there. They're buying groceries there. They're getting plenty of help. You can't starve out the folks in rural Alabama.
Yeah, my point is, and all of it is the lawsuit's not the way to go. You yell at this guy. That's how it's supposed to work. You go and you say, okay, you guys passed this law, and here's what it's doing to these communities. We want you to fix that. And the whole thing about the schools and all this other stuff that they try to frame all this. The way they're framing this is that they don't have the control over it because they can't do what they want to do. Well, in reality, this gives them ultimate control to do what they want to do. And the only problem they're having is that with the revenue split, which is decided by the Alabama. Was I correct when I said you could tax a coffee roaster, which is your business, if I wanted to, and I could then just give that to a zip code in Russellville, and that would be legal?
You probably could. Somebody could argue discrimination or unfair, taxation.
But it is something the legislature has this power.
Power of the purse. That's right.
So good luck on that lawsuit. It'll be interesting to follow because it could change a lot of things if the judiciary can become a taxing authority. That's basically what it argues.
Right.
Talk to me about your position as the chair of the Military, Veterans, and Public Safety Committee.
Sure.
What does that ensure for the people of Alabama?
Sure. Well, I call it the MVPs Committee, Military, Veterans, Public Safety, because we work with and protect our MVPs, people wearing uniform, whether that's law enforcement, emergency response, or military veterans. So we've done a lot of work. Lieutenant Governor Ainsworth has spearheaded a lot of this, and our counterparts in the House. Alabama in 2018 was considered last in the United States in military spouse license reciprocity, which is just a complicated term, which means how easy is it for a spouse to get their career up and running here in Alabama?
If they were certified somewhere else, they can they come and do it here?
That's right. And so, if that takes 6 months, that's 6 months of losing an income for that family. So we went from last place in 2018 to now we're #1 in the nation. And also, Retire Guide has listed us as the #2 best state for veterans to retire in. So we've done a lot of work. Happy to talk in detail about some of those specific bills, but obviously, Alabama's pro-military, and we're going to do everything we can to help those folks.
Let's talk about the military and some of the questions about what China is doing because it's near military installations. Some is because it's foreign land. It's a federal issue right now they seem to be dealing with. You guys have talked about it before. Any traction on that?
Yeah, so in 2023, the legislature passed a bill, I believe it was sponsored by now Majority Leader Scott Stahagen in the House. And it basically said that any of these foreign adversaries, and it listed China, Iran, North Korea, and Russia, could not buy, if they were affiliated with the governments of those countries, could not buy farmland, timberland, or any land within 10 miles of critical infrastructure like a military installation. So I really feel like as a state, we've done about as much as we can do. The federal government's going to have to do further restrictions. And I'll be honest, I've got constituents that say, hey, no foreign entities should be buying Alabama farmland. That kind of decision, I think, would have to be made by Congress.
Okay. Talk to me about District 10. Is it blowing up like a lot of the other parts of Alabama?
Yeah, North Alabama is really having a moment, I feel like, and we're part of that. We've had a lot of, kind of changing the landscape, particularly in Etowah County in my district. It used to be a huge Uniontown with Goodyear in the steel plant. That's gone away now. Really, we're investing in our mega site there. It's 1,200 acres now on rail and Interstate 59. It's the best one in the state.
How is it?
Really, for a while there, it was the only one left in the state, which is why we had to pass legislation to create more of these around Alabama.
Yeah.
But $17 million have been invested through the state over the last few years in that site. That coupled with some things we've got going at Gadsden State with the workforce are going to really, I think, take us to the next level.
That's wonderful. Let me ask you a quick question here. We only got a couple minutes left. Jabari Peoples in Homewood, Alabama, shot by a police officer. Lots of questions about what went on there. Now there's a debate about whether or not the video should be released to the people. Aaliyah has it. The governor came out and said something that was almost nonsensical, but the gist of it was they're doing an investigation and then they'll see it. You guys passed a law that basically was supposed to, at least it was as it was being promoted, make it easier for people to see the videos in these situations. I don't think it's done that. It's framed it as essentially the cops can do whatever they want in this situation. If they want to release, they can. If they don't want, they... Should you guys revisit this issue about video release of police shootings?
I see it's a complex issue because if you release that footage too early in the process, people will make their conclusions. Social media will blow up.
Like they're not doing that now without the information?
Well, they are, but I mean, you don't want to... You have a million experts, and it possibly, if you end up with something going to court or whatever, you end up kind of tainting the opinion of a jury or kind of influencing the process there. So I think maybe there's a time and place to look at releasing that stuff, but it should be after. I think personally after the investigation is concluded and after any legal
maybe
action.
They need to take away the wiggle room. And say, okay, when this investigation is complete, it will be released, or something along those lines. Because when
just have a definite.
Because the wiggle room makes it to where people can be like, well, what about it? Give it to us. You can do this. And Wandel Cavan, I think, made a good point that said, like, keeping it away, that's tainting things. So I think we need a definitive way to do it. Maybe we have to figure this out and revisit it again. All right, I got one more question here. Sorry, I looked like she had something to say. We were talking about the Epstein thing. I do have a quick question for you.
Okay.
Should they release documents and an investigation to that?
Oh, everything should be released, I feel like. And, I think this situation kind of got blown out of proportion. I think maybe if the AG had said, hey, turns out we didn't have the records, just own up to that.
Exactly.
And the whole thing would be over.
Agree. Thank you very much. We're actually way late. I screwed that time up. Let's take a quick time.
I thought so. That's why I was looking at the camera.
Now you're wasting more time. It's Alabama Politics this week. Megan's leaving. The show gets so much better. Stay tuned.
Fox 54 Plus is your streaming home for news from the world of sports. Join the Fox 54 sports team for local highlights and insights. Stream Fox 54 Sports Sector anytime on Fox 54 Plus. Live, local, and always on.
Opioids that were prescribed by a doctor, it's no big deal.
The pills we felt were probably the least harmful because something that came from a doctor, it can't be that bad.
This feels so good, and I want to feel this way every day.
3 and 4 pills would turn into 9 and 10 pills.
Old values and morals were completely cast away.
Addiction is lying to you.
There is a way out.
You just have to reach out for help.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for University Kia. This is my son Grant. He's a busy guy. Chess, piano, basketball, wrestling, baseball, you name it. There's probably some stuff that I missed that my wife will be mad about, but here's the thing. It's important to have reliable transportation. And my friends at University Kia, they take great care of me. I've been driving Sportages my entire life. My wife drives a Telluride now, and it is the perfect vehicle for the busy family. Folks, University Kia, let them take care of you like they've taken care of my family. That's University Kia. Learn more at universitykia.com.
Tom Grant and Dale Jackson sent you.
You work hard to earn little escapes because doing your best means being your best. So let us help you discover your best at Premier Dental Spa. With our unique blend of cosmetic, dental, and spa-like aesthetic services, you'll leave feeling relaxed, refreshed, and renewed. Make sure the best you is here to stay and book your appointment online today at premierdentalspa.com.
Welcome back to Alabama Politics. This week, I am Dale Jackson. We're jumping directly into the parting shot, and let's do that right now. So here's the deal on these raids, okay? These raids we've heard a lot about across the board, and it is time for us to just be honest about it. They're actually very, very good, and there is no problem with this. We saw last week where we had raids at 14 different locations all over Alabama, one in Foley, Alabama, the rest of them a majority in the South. And they are immigration raids, ICE raids. And you saw, if you go look on social media, you will see people furious about this. They're just going after hardworking people. All they're trying to do is feed their family. Well, first, they're in the country illegally, so that's number one. But what else did they find there? Methamphetamines. They found guns. They found rapists. And they found human trafficking. And they found a scheme to bring in humans and use these restaurants essentially as a way to wash them, for lack of a better way, and get them off to where they want them to be. It's a concerted scheme to circumvent Alabama and United States law. So these raids are exposing this. If you get past the idea that people in masks are showing up and disappearing people off the street, yeah, that's good for social media and for clicks and things like that. But the reality of the story is actually far different. They are going into places, this investigation has been going on for 3 years. They've been going into places where they know that human trafficking is going on, and they are trying to bust it up. Being mad about it because you're upset that Donald Trump is being really, really good on immigration, well, that doesn't really make much sense, because if you follow the story, you will see that things are actually trending in the right direction on that particular issue. We should be happy about that. Thank you very much for watching and listening to Alabama Politics this week. We appreciate you being here, and we'll talk to you soon.
Scout Pest Control is your one-stop shop for pest control. We do it all, from rodents to mosquitoes, termites to bed bugs. We offer a 100% satisfaction guarantee on all our services. When you think pest control, think Scout. ScoutPestControl.com.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for University Kia. This is my son Grant. He's a busy guy. Chess, piano, basketball, wrestling, baseball, you name it. There's probably some stuff that I missed that my wife will be mad about, but here's the thing. It's important to have reliable transportation. And my friends at University Kia, they take great care of me. I've been driving Sportages my entire life. My wife drives a Telluride now, and it is the perfect vehicle for the busy family. Folks, University Kia, let them take care of you like they've taken care of my family. That's University Kia. Learn more at universitykia.com.
Tom Grant and Dale Jackson sent you.
Opioids that were prescribed by a doctor, it's no big deal.
The pills we felt were probably the least harmful, because something that came from a doctor, it can't be that bad.
This feels so good, and I want to feel this way every day.
3 and 4 pills would turn into 9 and 10 pills.
Old values and morals were completely cast away.
Addiction is lying to you.
There is a way out.
You just have to reach out for help.
You work hard to earn little escapes because doing your best means being your best. So let us help you discover your best at Premier Dental Spa. With our unique blend of cosmetic, dental, and spa-like aesthetic services, you'll leave feeling relaxed, refreshed, and renewed. Make sure the best you is here to stay and book your appointment online today at premierdentalspa.com.
Scout Pest Control is locally owned and operated. We offer superb customer service and can even clean up after pests. When you think pest control, think Scout. Call us at 256-216-1088 or visit scoutpestcontrol.com.